একটা ইনস্টিটিউট হিসেবে কাজ করবে। আর স্যার আমাদের আরেকটা বিষয় যে সেটা হলো ইন্ডিভিজুয়াল ক্যাপাসিটি, যেটা উনি বলেছেন যে আমাদের যে পিপলস এম্পাওয়ারমেন্টের পাশাপাশি আমরা যারা সিভিল সার্ভেন্ট যারা ফিল্ডে কাজ করি তাদেরকেও এম্পাওয়ার করতে হবে, তাদেরকে লিগালি এম্পাওয়ার করতে হবে, স্পেশালি ইলেকট্রনিক্যালি এম্পাওয়ার করতে হবে। কাজে সেই ক্ষেত্রে ট্রেনিং ইনস্টিটিউট গুলোর ভূমিকা খুবই গুরুত্বপূর্ণ। আমাদের যে আরপিটিসি গুলো আছে সেগুলোকে আমরা শক্তিশালী করতে পারি, তাদের ইনস্টিটিউশনাল ক্যাপাসিটি বাড়াতে পারি। এইভাবে আমাদের ট্রেনিং ইনস্টিটিউট গুলো আছে তাদের ইনস্টিটিউশনাল ক্যাপাসিটি বাড়ানোর বিষয়টি পলিসি অন্তর্ভুক্ত করা প্রয়োজন। থ্যাংক ইউ স্যার।
আরেকটা জিনিস হচ্ছে যে আজকে যদি আমরা আমাকে হয়তো ইনস্ট্যান্টলি কিছু কমেন্ট করতে পারছি না, বাট সাবসিকুয়েন্টলি আপনারা ওই যে ওয়েবসাইট কমেন্ট দিতে পারবেন, write it down, jot down the website, and then you can post it. Any other question or comment? Anything? My God, are you? Yes, please, go ahead.
First of all, sir, I'd like to thank whoever was invited me here today. I'm very grateful for sharing this particular occasion today. I think it's dealing with a very important, critical area. And I apologize that I don't know more about the area, so I'm learning about it today, so please forgive me that what I'm giving you is my reaction to what I'm hearing today. I noticed that when people were speaking around the room, there seemed to me to be a common theme being expressed by a number of people. You know, they were talking, the UNDP talked about increasing expectations versus actually achieving delivery. And there was talk about brilliant boys who overextend themselves and cause problems. There was talk about the need for prioritised action items that are practical and doable, and so on. It was mention of the word being cooperative, and I think that sir, one gentleman here summed it up with one word, which the word, sir, was your word, which was preparedness. Preparedness, being prepared. And it seemed to me that was the theme that was coming from everybody, being prepared. You know, Dastiger talked about it being a huge task, and it certainly is a huge task, especially you're mobilising a raft, the breadth of governance, trying to move it forward in simultaneously. And I'm sure that in doing that there will be some key issues that are tactical issues that you would call, sir, killer threats, threats that could kill the whole process. And both for them and for the other associated initiatives, I'm sure, sir, you will not be surprised to hear me advocating that preparedness. That preparedness, as far as I'm concerned, would embrace concepts such as feasibility testing, SWOT analysis, risk analysis, and so on. All of those sort of key themes that over 1,100 officers in the civil service, and I agree that they are brilliant boys and brilliant girls, they have the skills to do that at the moment. So I'm quite optimistic about them. If they're mobilised, I'm quite optimistic about what the outcome can be, because they are brilliant boys and girls, and they do know that system to apply to move key reform initiatives forward. That's the first thing. There are three things that I wanted to say. That's the first thing that I wanted to say. The second thing I wanted to say was, I heard talk about PPP, and I heard talk about involving consultants. And I understand why there's a need for PPP and for consultants, but equally there's a need for sustainability. There's a need for sustainability. There's a need for and you sir, you know this, because there's a need for government ownership of what's happening and what's going to happen. And the only way that that can happen properly is by involving government officers in the process. What I mean is, I think a good example of this is what's happening on the UPBES system, performance-based evaluation system, inside the MOE. What has happened is that the IT specialists inside the PBES, who are responsible for the PBS, as you know, have taken full responsibility for that. They absolutely understand. It has got a comprehensive database. In fact, Mr. Dean could tell you more about it than I can, because he's the IT expert. It has a comprehensive database which can, in due course, when it's fully loaded with information, it can inform positive action on promotion, placements, transfers, training, and so on. Mostly, you know this. And the reason why they've got that is because ownership of the process, although it was developed in consultation with the MOE's IT experts, ownership was taken, embraced, welcomed by the Secretary of the MOE and by the IT people inside the MOE. And I suggest that as the ICT initiative rolls forward, I think that PPP and indeed any international consultants have to find a way of involving local officers, local brilliant boys and girls, local IT people, in a way that they fully own, they're fully informed of the process. Not only does it mean that they own the process, but it means that they're up to speed with implementing it. The consequence of the MOE ICT people taking this is that if the decision, sir, is taken to roll it out across beyond the MOE, if the decision is taken, I can say with total confidence that the IT people inside the MOE will be able, without people like me being involved, will be able to roll that forward. I think that's a key thing. We have to not depend, I use the word depend deliberately, not depend on PPP, not depend on consultants. We have to have a system where the ministries IT specialists are working alongside, and it's a shared experience, so that we can walk away and government can have full ownership. And the third thing, sir, with your permission, I wanted to mention is from a MAP2 perspective. You know, I'm the team leader of MAP2, and MAP2 has a process where we provide a safe environment for government officers to design, develop and implement reforms. Because I noticed in the paper, and I welcome this paper, and I enjoyed reading it very, very much. I noticed in comments around the floor, I noticed the reference to effective training. The thing about the MAP2 process is we don't train officers. The officers that we're involved with have got 20 years experience, more than 20 years experience in the civil service, and we don't train officers with that breadth of experience. What we do is we provide an environment and facilitate a process through which they design and implement reform initiatives. They're work-based reform initiatives, and they're called PIPs, Performance Improvement Projects. And so far there are 28 PIPs, maybe 29, maybe 30 PIPs that relate to IT. Now, I'm not suggesting that these are the peak, that these are the wonderful PIPs. What they are is they are devices for giving officers, 1,100 officers, the skill to undertake reforms. But they're in areas like establishment of ICT Business Resource Centre at Rangamati, introducing online energy measuring and monitoring system for bulk customers of BPOB, introduction of online facilities in Mirpur 1, sorry, I can't pronounce it. And so there are 28, 29 of these. So there may already be models in existence that could be incorporated into this process. Certainly, those, let's say 30 projects have involved somewhere in the region of 150 to 200 officers who know and understand introducing ICT systems. Over and beyond that, what I would say, sir, is that the MAP2 process will be continuing for a few more years. We would welcome